Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? What do I know? I know the New York Giants play the Houston Texans tomorrow. I know that both teams are playing the starters, confirmed by both Brian Dable and D'Amico Ryans. Dress rehearsal. Might see these guys for a whole half. I'm excited about that. And this is a good team to, play your starters against, to have a dress rehearsal against. They went to the playoffs last year. Some people might have said they overachieved. They surprised a lot of people. But I look at that head coach over there with D'Amico Ryans, and the team has already taken the identity of the coach. Hard-nosed. He got a hard-nosed team. Even the offensive coordinator didn't want to leave. He could have got almost any job he wanted to. He decided to stay because I think everybody knows what's going to happen with the Houston Texans. They got C.J. Stroud, what you believe to be the new franchise quarterback for the Houston Texans. Had a fantastic season. A lot of promise when you look at this Texans roster. There's players all over the roster, all up and down the depth chart. And guess what? The New York Giants need to go in there tomorrow and handle some business. Not saying we just need to win or this. No, we need to look good. The offense needs to look. The first time we see our starting offensive line, for the most part, outside of one player, I believe JMS is going to be playing. We had mixed reports saying that JMS was going to sit out. Now they're talking about he might get a few series. I don't know if that means he's going to start, but we'll get a chance to see a majority of the starting offensive line, especially the two guys that matter. I can't say they matter the most, but the two bookend tackles. We get to see Andrew Thomas and Jermaine Illumino. So I'm just going to start off by talking some of the matchups, right? Matchups to watch. And this is not the individual players. I'll go ahead into players to watch a little bit later. And this videos won't be long at all. But matchups to watch. First off, I'm thinking the trenches, right? I'm thinking their D-line versus our offensive line. When I look at the list of players that they have on that on that defensive line or in that front, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, Mario Edwards is another guy. Derek Barnett is another one. Even further down the depth chart, they have Jerry Hughes. So they got players. They got players on that defense now. They are playing their starters. That's what they said. I don't know. I didn't look into the injury report to see how many of these guys might be hurt, but I'm just looking at the depth charts and looking at some of the names. And the New York Giants, that offensive line should get some good work with these guys, playing in front of them, especially a guy like Danielle Hunter, seasoned veteran, Will Anderson, up-and-coming star rookie edge player as well. And you figure it'll be Danielle Hunter versus AT because of how they line up, and then you have Will Anderson versus Jermaine Illumino. I can't wait to see those matchups. I also can't wait to see what this interior offensive line, our offensive line, looks and how they hold up as far as being able to keep a clean pocket for Jones to step up into versus that defensive front of the Houston Texans. Also want to talk about the wide receivers versus the secondary, and that's on both sides. That's our wide receivers versus their secondary, and our secondary versus their wide receivers. Looking at the list again, just some of the secondary for the Texans. They have Derek Stingley, the rookie Kamari Lassiter, one guy that we were interested in. Safety is Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward. They also have a reserve for C.J. Anderson, Jeff Okudah. They got players in that secondary, so that's going to be a lot of good work for our wide receivers. So when you think about Neighbors, if he plays, he's going against some quality guys. You look at Hyatt and Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson. If you get all the way down to Hodgins and Allen Robinson, those guys as well. Like these guys. This is going to be some good competition. You're going to get a lot of good looks in this preseason game. When you turn around, we look at their wide receivers. They got Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. They even have Robert Woods, John Mechie, Noah Brown. We remember him from the Dallas Cowboys. They got players, man. And one of our biggest question marks right now is our secondary. Now, we know Tay Banks is CB1. We don't know who CB2 is. Most likely is going to be, starting off tomorrow, is going to be Nick McLeod. Sorry, I drew a blank right there. It's going to be Nick McLeod. You're going to see some Trey Hawkins as well. But This is just some good competition to see what these guys really are. And even more importantly, that's a solid offensive line that we're going against. And we need to see if we can really get some pressure on the quarterback. And then also you have a smart young rookie quarterback who's athletic, but also can pretty much cut you up when it comes to the passing game. And I just think this is a good test. I'm excited that we decided to go against the Texans full go. As far as the dress rehearsal before the season starts. And I think that's why Brian Dable was so serious this week with the practices, how he treated this week, how he had a scout team and everything out there. He really wanted, I think they really want to see what they have, with this team. And I think this is a fantastic test. So I always think about some questions before we get into these games. And my first question, prior to the game begins, is how is the offensive line going to look? How is the O-line going to play? That's one thing that I will be looking for. Hopefully you guys will be looking at the same thing. Another thing I want to look at is, can we run the ball? Are we going to be able to run the ball? Yeah, everybody knows we have, Malik Neighbors, Daniel Jones coming back. You want to be able to see the chemistry between the quarterback and the wide receivers. But yes, I want to see that too. But I also want to know, can the New York Giants run the ball? This running back by committee, even though we're a little bit hampered right now, but can these guys run the ball? And more importantly with that, can the offensive line open up running holes for the running back? And then, of course, how DJ looks. How will DJ look? Is he going to be comfortable? Is he going to be favoring? Is he going to be hesitant? Is he going to be too quick to get rid of the ball or throw the ball away? This is the first test for Daniel Jones, the first time he'll be able to get hit. How does he take a hit? Because I believe he will be hit. Hopefully not. I mean, if we can keep him clean, fantastic. But I want to see how he reacts to being hit. I want to see how he reacts to really being pressured. I want to see him go through his progressions. I want to see his timing. I want to see his processing. It's a lot of things you want to look for. And again, this is a real type game. About as real as the game we're going to get in this preseason, and you're going to see real emotions and real situations for Daniel Jones, and then getting the wide receivers involved. That goes along with everything. That's the O-line, that's the running game, that's quarterback play. All that stuff helps you to get the wide receivers involved. And how early can we get these guys involved, and how many different targets are we going to see? Is he going to go heavy Neighbors? Is he going to go heavy Slayton? Or is he going to work the middle or the short routes, intermediate routes with Wan'Dale Robinson? Are we going to get creative? I know it's a preseason game. I know you like to keep the preseason games vanilla, but are we going to keep it vanilla? I think so, but we still want to see some things that work. We still want to try some things out, and this is a good team, again, to try these things out. If I'm Daniel Jones, I'm playing free. This game doesn't matter as far as the record. Try some things. See what you're able to do, see what you're not able to do. I'm not going to kill him if he throws, interceptions or not. I just want to see what he tries to do, how comfortable he is at the end of the day. But, everybody's not going to treat it the same. So lastly, I'm going to wrap this video up with some players to watch. First guy, Daniel Jones. 1,000% player to watch is going to be Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones and his beard. I want to see his beard show up, hopefully. JMS. I want to see JMS back. This is his first real play or action, I would say, live football. He didn't get a chance to practice against the Detroit Lions. He really didn't get a chance to practice at all, really. So if he's in there like they said he might be, I want to see how he looks, and I also want to see how the interior offensive line looks. That hodgepodge of guys that are in there, whether it's Stinney, Schlotman, Van Roten, or if it's JMS, Stinney and Van Roten, or whatever that mixture is. I want to see how these guys do in that interior. Jordan Riley and Elijah Chapman on the defensive line. There is a competition on this defensive line, and these two young guys are making a name for themselves, in my opinion. This training camp, I was already high on Jordan Riley before the training camp started. Elijah Chapman is as advertised, and you're seeing that these guys are getting some good looks already. I want to see what those two guys can do. Tay Banks has been up and down. Now, people have been up and down on Tay Banks this whole training camp because you're seeing our wide receivers get a lot of success, right? Or at least we're seeing reports of our wide receivers having a lot of success. Can Tay Banks lock some of these guys down? Can he put out some good tape versus this laundry list of wide receivers that the Texans have? And he's very high on my list. Also Trey Hawkins, also Nick McLeod as well are high on my list. You can say Brian Burns, Tibbs, Dex. All this stuff is like this game all together. should be entertaining. Hopefully, the New York Giants show well, which I think they will. And guess what? It's a new day. The energy is different. I think the physicality is here. When I look at this pass rush, the guy that we brought in with Brian Burns and how he has energized his defense, along with Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Tyler Nubin, Jason Pinnock, there's a different kind of energy going on with the Giants, and I can't wait to see it on the field tomorrow. So that's going to be my quick preview of the Houston Texans versus New York Giants. I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.